It all started on a cloudy Tuesday afternoon, the kind of day where everything feels heavy even if nothing's wrong. But for Nathan, everything was wrong. His girlfriend of 3 years, Megan, had ended things the night before, and it left him a mess. I had known Nathan since our freshman year of college. We were both in the same psychology class and ended up partnered on a project that led to a long-lasting friendship. We stayed close after graduation. He became a high school counselor and I worked in publishing. We didn't see each other every day, but we talked often. That morning, when I got a text from him at 6:30 a.m. that just said, "You up?" I knew something wasn't right. I called him immediately. He didn't answer, but a few minutes later, my phone buzzed with a single word, "Come." So, I threw on my sneakers, grabbed some coffee, and drove to his apartment. When I arrived, the door was already open a crack. Inside, the lights were off, curtains drawn, and Nathan was lying on the couch with a blanket wrapped around him. His face was puffy, eyes red, and he looked like he hadn't slept. "She's gone," he mumbled, barely able to get the words out. He explained through sobs that Megan had ended things after an argument about commitment. She wanted to move forward, talk about engagement, buying a house, but Nathan wasn't ready. He had been honest about that from the beginning. Still, she felt like he was stringing her along. She left while he stood speechless at the door, unable to make her stay. I sat beside him and wrapped my arms around his shoulders. I didn't say anything at first. Sometimes people don't need advice, they just need to know someone's there. After about an hour, he dozed off, his head on my shoulder. I let him sleep. When he woke up, he looked embarrassed and apologized, but I told him not to. "Nate, you're allowed to break down," I said softly. "That's what friends are for." Over the next few days, I kept checking in. I brought over food, made him go for walks, and sometimes we'd just watch old sitcoms and laugh at the same jokes we'd heard 100 times. Slowly, he started to come back to life. One evening, about a week later, he asked me to stay for dinner. He cooked for the first time since the breakup, grilled chicken with mashed potatoes and steamed broccoli. It wasn't fancy, but it felt like progress. After dinner, we sat on the balcony. The air was cool, and the sky had turned that soft orange that comes just before sunset. "I thought I'd be over her by now," he said, his voice quiet. "But I keep replaying everything in my head. What I should have said. What I could have done differently." "You can't punish yourself forever," I replied. "You were honest about where you were emotionally. That's more than most people can say." He looked at me then, really looked. I could see something shift in his expression. There was vulnerability, yes, but also something more. Gratitude? Admiration? "You've been amazing," he said. "I don't know how I would have gotten through this without you." I smiled, brushing hair behind my ear. "I'm not going anywhere." That night, we sat in silence for a while. And for the first time since Megan had left, Nathan laughed. A full, genuine laugh when I told a terrible joke about our college professor who used to fall asleep mid-lecture. His eyes lit up, and I realized how much I had missed that version of him. Over the next few weeks, we started spending even more time together. Not because he needed support, but because we genuinely enjoyed each other's company. We went hiking on Saturdays, cooked dinners together, and even picked up a shared hobby, pottery, of all things. Our awkward clay mugs made us laugh harder than we had in ages. One night, while watching a movie on his couch, he reached for my hand. At first, I thought it was just comfort, but when I looked over, he was already looking at me with an intensity that made my heart skip. He didn't say anything, just held my hand. And I didn't pull away. Later that night, as I was about to leave, he walked me to the door. I turned to say goodbye, but he hesitated, then leaned in and kissed me. It was soft and careful, like he was testing the waters. When he pulled away, his eyes searched mine. "Was that okay?" he asked. I nodded, my voice barely above a whisper. It was more than okay. From that moment, everything changed, but in a good way. We talked about it. We didn't rush. Nathan needed time, and I didn't want to be a rebound. We agreed to move slowly, to let whatever was happening between us unfold naturally. Months passed, and things got easier for him. He no longer talked about Megan unless it came up casually. His smiles were more frequent, his laughter more real. And our bond grew stronger. We weren't just friends anymore, we were something deeper. One afternoon, while walking through a farmer's market, Nathan turned to me and said, "You know what the worst part about my breakup was?" "What?" "That it had to happen for me to see what I should have been looking for all along." I looked at him, surprised. "And what's that?" "You." I stopped walking. He took my hands, right there between the fruit stand and a guy playing the ukulele. "You've always been the one who saw me for who I really am," he continued. "You never tried to change me. You just showed up. Every time." I felt tears prick at the corners of my eyes, but this time they weren't from sadness. They were from something beautiful. I wrapped my arms around him, burying my face into his chest. "I was always here," I whispered. We started officially dating a few weeks later. It felt natural, like we had been building toward it all along. We still did all the little things, movies, pottery class, late-night talks, but now there was something even more grounding between us. Love. Nathan healed, not because he forgot Megan, but because he found a new chapter. And I was part of that chapter. Being there for someone during their lowest point is hard, but it's also where real love can grow. A year later, we went back to the same balcony where we had sat during his worst days. This time, the sky was lit with stars. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small box, and opened it to reveal a delicate ring. "I don't want to be afraid of commitment anymore," he said. "Not when it's you." My heart nearly burst. I nodded, unable to speak for a moment. "Yes," I finally said. 1,000 times yes. Helping Nathan get over his breakup wasn't about fixing him. It was about walking beside him until he could stand on his own. And when he did, we realized we were already walking in the same direction.